Namaskar. Welcome to OGF Company. I am the CEO of OGF Company. अभी जो बैच चल रहा है मैं हूं आपका हिंदी टीचर एस्पिरेंट भास्कर राव पिरिबाका। अभी जो बैच चल रहा है डू और डाई का बैच चल रहा है। अभी जो वक्त है डू और डाई का वक्त है। चलिए आज हम अध्ययन करेंगे चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट एंड पेडागोजी से चैप्टर 2। ओके, चैप्टर 2 थियरीज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट। डेवलपमेंट का थियरीज के बारे में आज हम अध्ययन करेंगे। उसमें क्या क्या है, उसमें 7 पॉइंट है। क्या क्या है थियरीज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट के अंदर? पियाजेट्स कॉग्निटिव डेवलपमेंट थियोरी, लैंग्वेज डेवलपमेंट थियोरी ऑफ चॉम्स्की, सोशल डेवलपमेंट थियोरी ऑफ एरिक्सन, moral development theory of Colberg, mental developmental characteristics during childhood, needs and problems during our childhood and adolescence, practice questions with answers. Okay, so chapter 2 theories of development. Piaget cognitive development theory. Piaget is a radical constructivist. Children are not less intelligent than adults, they think differently. It means children's thinking is qualitatively different from adult, not quantitatively. Children are the little scientists and active explorer of the environment. They are active builder of the knowledge and construct their own theories. Stages of cognitive development theory are qualitative and invariant, which means that no stage can be skipped. K terms and concepts. Concepts. First is schema, the mental and psychological structures which are the building blocks of the thinking. It is also called cognitive structure. Assimilation, putting new information into existing schema. Assimilation, putting new information into existing schema. Accommodation, changing the existing schemas to include new information. Adaptation, the process of adjusting, deleting schema and forming new schema to maintain equilibrium. It consists of 2 processes, assimilation and accommodation. Equilibration, it is the process of progression in thought process of a child which reduces confusion. Stages of cognitive development. Sensory motor stage 0 to 2 years. Use limitation, ability to construct mental representation, think with senses like eyes, ears, nose, etc. Object permanence, after 18 months object exists even when we cannot sense, see, hear and touch. Goal directed behavior, moves from reflexive involuntary action to intentional deliberate goal-oriented action. Okay, pre-operational stage 2 to 17 years. Animisms, it is a situation when a child thinks that all the things are living in this world and can talk, eat and sleep. For example, when a child fell in the ground, he will start hitting the ground, so ground will feel the same pain. Irreversibility, difficulty is thinking backward. The developing ability to think about objects in a symbolic form remains limited to think in one direction, one frame, one way, that is one way logic. Only it is difficult for child to reverse the steps in a task. For example, a child knows the way to go to school but can't return back. Child can open the lock but cannot close the lock. Yes, child can open the door but can't lock. Centration, it is the tendency to focus on the silent aspect of a situation and neglect other possibly relevant aspects. Lack of conservation, this age group lacks the concept of conservation and they do not understand that mass, weight, volume, quantities, numbers remain constant. even when they change shape, arrangement, color. Egocentrism. It refers to a child's inability to understand that another person's view or opinion may be different than their own. It represents a cognitive bias in that someone would assume that others share the same representative as they do, unable to imagine that other people would have a perception of their own. Child thinks that everyone is thinking like the same thing as they do. For example, child thinks that everyone will like a cartoon because they do. Egocentric speech, self-talk. It is the act of a child talking to him or herself, usually through an event or activity. Egocentric speech can be repeated praise, similar, or it can be monologue of ideas that requires no listener. Intuitive thinking without logic, symbolic thoughts. It is the human ability to visualize shape and function and then to render those visions into a physical form. Paintings, models, etc. This ability is believed to have no evolved with human language used as a language is essentially using symbols to represent objects and ideas. Concrete operational stage, 7 to 11 years. Disinterestation. Child starts focusing on different aspects of a situation problem to find the number of solutions. Socialized speech involves more of a give and take between people. Child starts communicating others. Reversibility. Child develops ability to think backward and can reverse the steps of a task. Class inclusion. The child focuses on the both aspects, either class or subclass, that is called this class inclusion. It is not until he can decenter that he can simultaneously compare both the whole and the parts which make up the whole. The child can then understand the relationship between class and subclass. Classification. Child starts differentiating things on the basis of their characteristics and make a group according to them. Conservation. Physical properties remain same even outward appearance change. Seriation. Child development ability to arrange items on a certain basis of characteristics. Concrete thinking, logical thinking. A predominance of actual objects and events and the absence of concepts and generalizations. Formal operational stage 11 and above. There are 4 stages. Okay. There are 4 stages. Okay, bhai. Cognitive stages. Cognitive development, there are 4 stages, that is sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, and concrete operational stage, formal operational stage 11 to above years. Abstract thinking. Child develops ability to use concepts and to make a understand generalizations. Hypothetical thinking. Child can make a hypothesis and solve problem mentally. We consider all possible ways to solve a problem. Personal pebble adjacent. Egocentrism. Child starts examining his thoughts according to others. He or she thinks everyone is noticing them only and analyzing him or her. Okay. Criticism of Piaget's cognitive development. Piaget ignored culture and underestimated young children. Criticism of Piaget's cognitive development. Piaget ignored culture and underestimated young children. He ignored training and education and his stages are rigidly. That is rigidly. You have to do what you have to do. You have to do. That's all. Okay. Language development theories of Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky, known as the father of modern linguistics, has made a crucial contribution to the field of linguistics. Chomsky view about language in brief. Innate ability. He strongly believes that children born with an innate knowledge of grammar that serves as the basis for all language acquisition. Universal grammar theory. It states that all children are born with an innate ability to acquire, develop, and understand language. Language acquisition device. Chomsky proposed that humans are equipped with a language acquisition device which enables a child to acquire and produce language. Chomsky discovered that when children are learning to speak, they don't make the errors you would expect. For instance, children seem to understand that all sentences should have the structure subject, verb, object even before they are able to speak in full sentences. Children learn language most effectively during a critical period which spans roughly from birth into puberty. According to Chomsky, language acquisition is a process that requires children to reduce implicit rules that permeate the language in order to account for the ability of growing children to navigate this process. Chomsky postulated the existence within the brains of children of a language acquisition device. This hypothetical device permits children to learn rules that govern a language regardless of limited exposure. Okay, this is the language development theories of a Noam Chomsky. Next is social development theories of Erikson. Social development theories of Erikson. Erik Hamburger Erikson, born Erik Solomonsen, 15 June 2002, 12 May 1994, was a German. He was a German. Who is it? That is, Erikson is a German-American developmental psychologist and psychoanalyst known for his theory of psychological development of human beings. He may be most famous for coining the phrase identity crisis. According to this theory, man born in society develops, works, and progress in society. Social development is very essential for proper adjustment in society. Social adjustment starts from early infancy. Erikson postulated that development of an individual is the result of his interaction with the social environment. Next is stages of psychological development. There are three stages. There are 3 levels and 6 stages. Approximate age of psychological crisis task virtue developed infant 18 months, trust versus mistrust, hope 18 months, 3 years, autonomy versus shame or doubt, will 3 to 5 years, initiative versus guilt, propose 5 to 13 years, industry versus inferiority, competence 13 to 21 years, identity versus confusion, fidelity, and 21 to 39 is intimacy versus isolation, that is love 40 to 65 years, generativity versus stagnation, care 65 years and older, integrity versus despair, wisdom. The first stage occurring during infancy is defined by the conflict of trust versus mistrust. At this stage, the infant is entirely dependent on caregivers for nourishment, comfort, and protection. When caregivers provide consistent care, warmth, and responsiveness, the infant develops a sense of trust in the world and in others. However, if care is inconsistent, neglectful, or unpredictable, the infant may develop mistrust, leading to feelings of fear and insecurity. The second stage, autonomy versus shame and doubt, takes place during childhood, when children begin to explore their environment and develop basic self-control. As toddlers learn to walk, speak, and perform simple tasks independently. They seek autonomy and a sense of personal control. Overly strict, critical, or controlling parenting, however, may cause children to feel shame and doubt about their capacities. The third stage, initiative versus guilt, occurs during the preschool years. At this stage, children become more active, imaginative, and socially engaged. They begin to initiate activities, ask questions, and take on leadership roles in play. When these initiatives are supported, children develop a sense of purpose and the confidence to pursue goals. If their efforts are discouraged or punished excessively, children may experience guilt about their desires and actions. The fourth stage, industry versus inferiority, characteristics middle childhood, particularly during the school years. In this stage, children focus on developing skills, mastering academic tasks, and gaining approval from teachers and peers. Success and encouragement lead to a sense of industry where children feel competent and capable of achieving goals. Repeated failures, lack of recognition, or negative comparisons with others may result in feelings of inferiority and inadequate. So what happens that the fifth stage? After that is the fifth stage, identity versus role confusion emerges during adolescence and is considered central to Erickson's theory. During this period, individuals actively explore their beliefs, values, career goals, and social roles in an effort to form a coherent identity. Adolescents who successfully integrate their experiences develop a stable sense of self and direction in life. Those who fail to resolve this crisis may experience confusion about their role in society and uncertainty about their future. The sixth stage, intimacy versus isolation, occurs in young adulthood. Having established a sense of identity, individuals now seek to form close and meaningful relationships. This stage focuses on emotional intimacy, commitment, and the capacity to share oneself with others without losing personal identity. Failures to achieve intimacy may result in loneliness, emotional isolation, and fear of commitment. The seventh stage, generativity versus stagnation, takes place during middle adulthood. At this stage, individuals are concerned with contributing to society and supporting the next generation through parenting, teaching, mentoring, or productive work. A sense of generative arises when individuals feel useful, productivity, and social responsible. In contrast, stagnation occurs when individuals feel disconnected, self-centered, or unproductive. The final stage, ego integrity versus despair, occurs in late adulthood. As individuals reflect on their lives, they evaluate their achievements, relationships, and choices. Those who perceive their lives as meaningful and fulfilling develop a sense of ego integrity, accepting both successes and failures with a sense of completeness. Those who view their lives with regret or dissatisfaction may experience despair and fear of death. Moral development theories of Kohlberg. Lawrence Kohlberg was an American psychologist best known for his theory of stages of moral development. According to his theory, moral development is the process by which human develops the ability to distinguish good and bad behaviors. Kohlberg first defines moral development as the development of an individual's sense of justice. Lawrence Kohlberg divided life into 6 stages according to moral development. The stages are grouped under 3 levels. Stages of Kohlberg's moral development theories: level 1, level 2, level 3. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, stage 6. Level 1, pro-conventional morality. Stage 1, obedience and punishment, behavior driven by avoiding punishment. Stage 2, individual interest, behavior driven by self-interest and rewards. Level 2, conventional morality. Stage 3, interpersonal, behavior driven by social approval. Stage 4, authority, behavior driven by obeying authority and conforming to social order. Level 3, post-conventional morality, pre-conventional and post. Stage 5, stage 6, social context, behavioral driven by balance of social order and individual rights. Stage 6, universal ethics, behavior driven by internal moral principles. Pre-conventional level. At this level, judgment is based solely on a person. Pre-conventional level. At this level, judgment is based solely on a person's own needs and perceptions. Here, right and wrong is based primarily on external circumstances, punishments, and rewards. The first two stages are included in this level. Stage 1 and stage punishment, obedience, orientation. At this stage, slowest you try to avoid breaking rules for fear of punishment because a good or bad action is determined by its physical consequences. Here the conscience that works is self-protection. I might be catched and punished if I cheated. Stage 2, personal reward orientation. At this stage, personal needs determine right and wrong, and so that the conscience seems to be cunning. Your behavior is determined primarily by what will earn you a reward. Maybe he really had to fast because he might get a reward on scoring well. Nevertheless, maybe he should not cheat because the teacher would then fail him. Conventional level. At this level, the judgment is based on others' approval, family expectations, traditional values, the laws of society, and loyalty to country. This level includes stages 3 and 4. Stage 3, good boy, nice girl orientation. This stage is the stage of social approval. Your behavior is determined by what pleases and is approval by others. Here, mutual relations of trust and respect should be maintained, provided they conform to your expected social role. The conscience. This stage is loyalty. Stage 4, law and order orientation. You are expected to respect the authority and maintain the social order. It is right to contribute to the society and fulfill social duties. Here the conscience is good citizenship. It is wrong to cheat in exams because it is against rules of examination in school. Post-conventional level. The last two stages 5 and 6 are this post-conventional level. At this level, judgments are based on abstract or more personal principles that are not necessarily defined by society laws. Stage 6, social contract orientation. This is the stage of social utility and individual rights. Your loyalty is towards truth. At this stage, you are not only aware of the social contract between individuals but also of the different moral perspectives of others. The conscience of this stage is reason. It is not right to cheat in examination because it is against moral values. Stage 6, universal ethical principle orientation. This is the highest stage of morality. At this stage, you realize to follow self-chosen ethical principles. Your choices are grounded in genuine moral interest in the well-being of others, regardless of who they are. Therefore, the conscience of at this stage is personal integrity. In order to understand Kohlberg's theory of moral dilemma in a better way, let us go through the story of Henge, which he entitled as Henge Dilemma. Henge dilemma. A woman in Europe was diagnosed with a kind of a cancer and was near her death. Only one medicine could have saved her, as doctor's opinion, which was a kind of radium discovered by one of the parasists in that town, but the parasite was charging nearly 10 times the cost of the radium, that is $2,000, and that too for a small dose. Hence, the sick woman's husband tried hard to collect money but could arrange for only half the amount. He requested the parasite to lend him the medicine because his wife really needed it, but the latter did not help. Later, Henge goes to so distressed that he broke into the parasit's shop to steal the medicine for his wife. That was study Henge dilemma at all levels of morality by Kohlberg. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, Stage 4, Stage 5. Stage 1, Henge should not steal the medicine because he might be catched and punished, or Henge was not to go to operation because he was not stealing something big, and more importantly, he asked for it fast and was ready to pay. Stage 2, Henge might steal the medicine to give happiness to his family at home by saving his wife, but they might get sentenced for a long term in prison, which he could not stand. Stage 3, Henge was not doing wrong, he just wanted to save his beloved wife. It was the pharmacist who overcharged, he would not get a hard punishment because the judge would look at all sides of the situation. Stage Perhange should not have stolen because it was against the law of if he had to steal, then he must be ready to take the punishment, otherwise there would be a choice of if everybody sets up everybody's own beliefs. Stage 5 life is more important than property, and Hinge should save him his even if he had to steal. Let the moral and legal standpoints coincide. Or Hinge should not have stolen because even though his wife was sick, it would not make his action right. Stage 6 Hinge should steal the medicine because human life has more value than the property rights of some person. Or Hinge should not have stolen because any other person might have needed the medicine more badly. Developmental characteristics during childhood. Okay, next is developmental characteristics during childhood. Developmental characteristics during childhood. Child development is a dynamic and continuous process that shapes how a child grows, learns, and interacts with the world. From infancy through childhood, development occurs across four interconnected domains: physical, social, cognitive, and emotional. Understanding these developmental characteristics helps explain how children gain motor skills, form relationships, think and solve problems, and manage their feelings as they may mature. Physical development. First is the physical development. Developmental characteristics during childhood. First is physical development. Physical development is the process through which a child's body grows and matures over time, involving both visible changes in body size and structure and internal changes in bodily systems. It encourages in height, weight, and muscle mass, as well as the development of bones, the brain, and the nervous system. It also encompasses the refinement of gross motor skills such as crawling, walking, running, jumping, and balancing, and fine motor skills such as grasping, drawing, writing, and manipulating small objects. These are influenced by genetic factors, nutrition, health, physical activity, and environmental experiences, and it forms the foundation for a child's ability to explore their surroundings, engage in learning, and participate actively in daily life. Characteristics of physical development. The pace of this growth is more in later childhood, 7 to 12 years, than in early childhood, stage 3 to 6 years. At the adolescent stage, 13 to 18 years, noticeable changes take place in many domains like height and weight, bodily proportions change in boys, increase in motor performance, and sexual changes. The most important physical development in adolescence is puberty, when they become sexual mature. Mature girls can experience puberty from around the age of 11 years. For boys, this is slightly later. Girls at this stage show a continuous growth in height, but at a slower pace than earlier. Prominent changes can be seen in bodily proportions, with the broadening of pelvic bone, circular wrist, while the arms and legs grow in length and become finer. The boys become sweet and shrill. In terms of secondary sex characteristics, the sex organs in girls acquire maturity. The growth in breast, hair growth at public and armpits, and change in gait are some significant features of adolescence in girls. Apart from this, the girls start going through menstruation cycle. Average gap age varies from 12 to 16 years among boys. These include rapid growth in height and weight, continues until age 18 or 19, development of muscles, and increase in strength. The changes in bodily proportions can be seen in the form of rounded shoulders, broadened chest, and developed muscles. The maturity of the larynx can be noticed with broken and defied boys. Besides genital organs in boys grow in size. Hair growth in public armpits and facial areas. The physical changes in occurring commonly in both boys and girls, include full growth of all internal systems, false rate, and complete brain development. The skill becomes only and ascent and sweating may be problematic. They also feel hunger, and their appetites seem to be great. Sexual desires and fantasies also increase in both boys and girls. However, these changes occurring in the body of a child are influenced by some factors which may be hereditary or environmental. Cognitive development. Next is cognitive development. Child's cognitive development forms the foundation of many other developments like language, social, moral, and emotional development. But the question arises, what is this cognitive development? Cognitive development involves mental processes that are associated with taking in, organizing, and making sense of information. Processes that include perceiving, attending to, understanding, and recalling information. The mental functions are part of what is referred to as cognition. Characteristics of cognitive development. Cognitive development refers to the growth of a child's ability to think, reason, remember, understand, and use language. It reflects how children acquire knowledge and make sense of the world around them. The major characteristics of cognitive development include the following: development of thinking and reasoning. As children grow, their thinking moves from simple and concrete ideas to more complex and logical reasoning. Young children think in concrete terms, while older children gradually develop the ability to think abstractly, analyze situations, and draw conclusions. Memory development. Cognitive development involves improvements in memory, including the ability to store, retain, and retrieve information. With age, children become better at remembering past experiences, learning from them, and applying knowledge to new situations. Attention and concentration. Children gradually develop the ability to focus their attention for longer periods. Early attention is brief and easily distracted, but over time children learn to concentrate, ignore irrelevant stimuli, and complete tasks effectively. Language and communication skills. Communication skills. Language supports thinking, problem solving, and social interaction. Problem solving ability. Cognitive development enables children to identify problems, explore possible solutions, and apply strategies to overcome challenges. This include trial and error learning in early childhood and more systematic logical problem solving in later years. Imagination and creativity. Children demonstrate cognitive growth through imagination and creative thinking. Pretend play, storyteller, drawing, and inventing scenarios reflect a child's ability to use symbols, think flexibly, and explore possibilities beyond immediate reality. Concept formation. As cognitive skills develop, children learn to classify objects, recognize patterns, and understand concepts as size, shape, number, time, and cause and effect relationships. These abilities form the foundation for academic learning. Metacognition. Thinking about thinking. Older children begin to develop metacognition, cognitive skills, becoming aware of their own thought processes. They learn to plan, monitor, and evaluate their learning strategies, which enhances independent learning and academic success. Social development. Social development refers to the process by which a child learns to interact with others around them. As they develop and perceive their own individuality within their community, they also gain skills to communicate with other people and process their actions. Social development most often refers to how a child develops friendships and other relationships, as well how a child handles conflict with fears. How fast do you have to read, man? How fast do you have to read? Develop language skills and ability to interact with other children allows for more opportunities to practice and learn speech and language skills. This is a positive cycle because as communication skills improve, a child is better able to relate to and react to the people around him, build self-esteem. Other children provide a child with some of her most exciting and fun experiences. When a young child is unable to make friends, it can be frustrating or even painful. A healthy circular friends reinforces a child's comfort level with her individuality, strength, and learning skills. In addition to the effective social development can have on general communication skills. Many researchers believe that having healthy relationships with peers from preschool on up allows for adjustment to different school setting and challenges. Studies show that children who have a hard time getting along with classmates as early as preschool are more likely to experience later academic difficulties, resolve conflicts, stronger self-esteem, and better language skills can ultimately lead to a better ability to resolve differences with peers. Establish a positive attitude. A positive attitude ultimately leads to better relationships with others and higher levels of self-confidence. Emotional development. Emotion has been defined differently as a stage of agitation, disturbance of equilibrium, intense, random, and organized response to a stimulus. In our modern life, emotions demand greater understanding because of their pervasive effects on behavior, personalities, and health. Characteristics of emotional development at the stage of childhood. Characteristics of emotional development at the childhood stage. Children experience feelings of love. Characteristics of emotional development at the childhood stage. Children experience feelings of love, hatred, and fear which last was long. There is the information of sentiments and complexes. They develop a sense of autonomy, combat doubt and shame. In other words, they accept themselves if they succeed in their own eyes and develop a sense of inferiority if they fail. By the time the children enter the stage of adolescence, there are some noticeable changes in their emotional behavior. The adolescents often struggle with a sense of identity and acquisition, entity and question about themselves. The common observable behavior patterns at this stage are moodiness, anger, depression, anxiety, and state of dilemma. Their trust therefore shifts to friends, and the opinions of others seem to be important. Moreover, crushes on movie stars, models, pop artists, etc. can easily be found, and therefore they are found to be sexually attracted to people. Care needs of childhood: physical needs, emotional, social needs, cognitive needs, psychological needs. That is, care needs of childhood: physical needs, nutrition, health care, immunization, illness care, clean water, air, safe play, spaces, sleep. Emotional and social needs: love, security, belonging, acceptance, attendance, respect, positive relationships with caregivers, and fears, opportunities for friends. Cognitive needs: early learning, stimulation, opportunities to explore, ask questions, and develop problem solving skills. Psychological needs: self-esteem, confidence, freedom to express a sense of achievement and support for identity formation. Common problems in childhood. Childhood: developmental issues, delays or difficulties in speech, motor skills, social interaction, or cognition. That is, autism spectrum disorder, learning disabilities, behavioral problems, ADHD, oppositional defiant disorder, or aggression, impulsivity, conduct issues. Emotional and mental health: anxiety, depression, loneliness, anger, low self-esteem, identity crisis, obsessive behavior. Environmental and family issues: environmental and family issues, lack of mental stimulation, puberty, family conflict, divorce, abuses, caregiver, mental health struggles, lack of access to services, health problems. Common childhood illness: colds, car infections, asthma, and chronic conditions. Physical growth needs and concerns: the sudden changes that the adolescents undergo make them actually conscious of their bodies. Dissatisfaction or dissatisfaction with their body image plays an important role in the self-esteem of the adolescent. Self-esteem is a measure of the regard for oneself as a human being and sense of one's personal worth and place within the society. adolescence changes. This is the academic pressure and expectations, fear pressure and social relationships, well-being and mental health, that is building resistance and coping skills, mental health supported and researches, technological and digital challenges, adolescence. This is self-esteem is closely linked with the self-respect. The way a person values oneself will influence one's behavior. Focus must be on building potential by identifying the strengths and making use of them. Positive self-concept and high self-esteem are foundations of responsible behavior. Psychological needs and concerns. Adolescence is a phase of psychological changes and development leading to a formation of identity, a perception of self and also perception of surrounding and making of impressions about self. Common psychological concerns due to unmet needs of adolescents are developmental, family issues, fear and guilt, anger, frustration, family crisis, concerns for childhood or adolescence, divorce, parenting and marriage preparation, personal issues, anxiety, loneliness, depression, anger, guilt, low of self-esteem, stress, brief relationship issues, family problems, health, alcohol during difficulties and military, family life issues, relationship issues, roommate problems, boyfriend, girlfriend difficulties, marital issues and sexual concerns, emotional needs and concerns. Adolescence is also a period of emotional transition marked by changes in the way adolescents feel for themselves and others. Emotional concerns of this phase are as follows: emotional abilities. At one moment they may think their teachers, parents in the best, and other time they think they are worst. Feel extreme love and hatred for some others, impulsiveness, not able to manage emotions, aggressive behaviors, road rage and rising number of suicides are some of the examples of not able to manage emotions. Excitement, craving for excitement in a way that most adults find difficult to understand. They may indulge into experimentation which may be dangerous. Intimacy, craving for love and feeling of love may make them think that infatuation, attraction and lust is nothing but love and may make them fall into love at first sight without considering the capabilities, issues, behavioral needs and concerns. With the development of the psychosocial competencies, the adolescent starts testing their capabilities and competencies. This independent behavior may lead to a vicious cycle, as each behavior leads to psychological effects leading to further vulnerabilities and further high risk behavior. Social needs and concerns. Social needs and concerns. Social needs and concerns. Social needs and concerns. Social needs and concern. Development of friendship and peer group involvement. Changes in the ways adolescents view family rules and regulations may contribute to encourage disagreement between them and their parents. Scholastic needs and concerns. Scholastic needs and concerns. Scholastic issues concerning adolescents relate to adolescents who are not able to adapt to the environment of school due to social, academic and religious issues. Neglected adolescents due to biases or adolescents with learning disability, school dropouts. Sexual needs and concerns. Sexual needs and concerns. Adolescents having sex early are at greater risk of early pregnancy and health problems. Sexual transmitted diseases are common. HIV infection and AIDS are becoming more common. Sensitive support, clear guidance and accurate information about these different aspects of sex are essential. Okay, this is closed. Okay, we will meet next video. Namaskar. I am the Bhaskar Rao Piribaka of India. Thank you. Namaskar.